Good morning, Claire here, and happy Christmas Eve. Christmas is tomorrow. I'm so excited for it. We have been sick almost the entirety of December, it feels like, and we're starting to feel ourselves again and actually got up and did some baking this week. So come on and join me, and I will show you what we've been up to.
So my favorite holiday gift this year was a little bit of active starter for sourdough from a friend of mine. And I'm so thankful because I've been wanting to try sourdough and cook sourdough for a while, but it always seemed like this mystical, kind of complicated, scary thing. And I've got to say, this is my second time making loaves. And after just taking the plunge and being like, what's the worst that can happen? And making it the first time, I realized it's really not hard. There's a lot of, kind of waiting and do this next step and leave it and forget it until this time. It's actually pretty fun. It helps me kind of stay motivated to get other tasks done while I'm waiting. So it's been beneficial for me. But I just added 250 grams of my active starter to this bowl. Then I added 735 grams of water. And then you mix your starter and your water all together till it gets nice and milky looking like this. And then you add in 100 grams of all-purpose flour, which I used King Arthur. And this canister, I just have to show you, is a new acquisition of mine. My mother had this canister set when I was growing up because she was actually a pretty successful little Avon lady back in the 1980s. And so this was something that you could only get if you were an Avon consultant. While my sister had the set, my mom gave it to her, and I've always loved it. So I got on eBay and was looking for other little canisters and came across it. And I knew that I had to get it. So this is the one canister I've gotten, and I'm waiting to get the other 3 that go with it. So I can't wait to show you when I finally get those. Now you mix your starter, your water, and your flour together. And then you can, after you kind of initially mix it with your spatula or whisk or whatever specialty tool that you might have for working with sourdough, I just used my spatula. You can get in there and knead it with your hands. The dough will be really sticky, um, and but it'll kind of come together into sort of a shaggy dough type consistency. And once you kind of get it all incorporated and mixed together, you'll just leave it there in the bowl, cover it, and leave it somewhere for 2 hours. And 2 hours later, you will add in 25 grams of salt and 50 additional grams of water. And you'll be able to see that the consistency of the dough sort of changes. It's a lot more kind of not the shaggy dough anymore. It's very, I don't know, slimish. And that's the consistency it feels, and it's kind of one solid piece now. It's not sticky to the side of the bowl. It's kind of incorporated, but you'll incorporate and knead that for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then you'll put it away overnight, maybe in the fridge if you want to, or let it sit for 4 to 5 hours. And the next time you'll come back to it, it will be a lot it'll be in the form that you want it to be, risen to double its size, and it'll come out of the bowl and see how it is sort of sticky, and that's okay, but it won't be hard to come out of the bowl. You'll just kind of peel it out of there, and then you'll be ready to work with it. And then you'll cut the dough into 2 slices, or 2 little separate piles. Then you'll want to flour a little work area and take one of your um, dough blobs and put it on that. And then what you're going to want to do is maybe get some flour on your hands, because it is going to be sticky to work with at this point. But you're going to try to stretch it into sort of a rectangular shape. Really pull it out like that, and then you're going to want to fold it one way and then let it meet, fold it the other way, and then you're going to roll that up into a ball. And then you'll want to kind of knead it, or not really knead it, but you're going to want to kind of like push and pull it into sort of a circular motion and let it get into a kind of a ball consistency, back and forth, and then you'll set it to the side. It will kind of deflate, that's okay, but you leave it there on the counter for about 20 minutes in that state. And I'll do that to the other ball as well. Both of them will be same process. After it's set on the counter uncovered for about 20 minutes, you'll come back and do the same process, except for you won't stretch your dough out quite as far. And then it'll be ready to go into what's called a banneton. And it's a little basket that has I believe, a linen covering. And I just sprinkle a little bit of flour in there, scoop up my my dough ball, and I put it in there. And then you cover that up and put it in the fridge to rest for another 2 hours. And then after that happens, you will take it out. It's ready to cook. You're going to want to preheat your oven to 450 degrees. And you're going to want to take your cast iron Dutch oven that you are going to be cooking your bread in, and let it preheat with the oven for about 15 minutes before you put your dough inside of it. So while you're scoring it, that's a great time to have your pot in there ready to go ahead and get warm enough. So then you take your little scoring tool, the little razor, and you're going to want to put kind of cut a circle into a deep cut all the way around. And then you can try to do some kind of little design. I would love to learn so much more about making those beautiful artsy fartsy little designs that you see people who know what to do with sourdough. So I put a little bit of flour on there, and I was kind of trying to do a little bit of I was thinking like maybe holly or something, but it didn't quite turn out that way. But this is my second attempt, so this was pretty good for me, I believe. And then you take your bread that's on a piece of parchment paper. You get a little bit of water, put it underneath your parchment paper so that it'll kind of create steam in there while it's cooking. And you put your lid on, and then you'll be cooking that for 30 minutes covered. Then after 30 minutes, you'll take the lid off and then return it into the oven so that it can get nice and brown and crispy on the outside. And after both loaves were cooked, we got right to work eating one of the loaves almost entirely in one sitting, which is very gluttonous of us, but it was very, very delicious. My hope this Christmas was to make a little doll to put in my daughter's dollhouse that she's getting for Christmas, to open up on Christmas morning and have a little friend in there. And I have not been able to work on this quite as diligently as I had hoped, since we've been so sick, and the kids especially. They have been so needing so many snuggles and cuddles, and they've just not been well. So I haven't been able to do quite as much. But now that all the little pieces have been sewn up, it's time to stuff them and make them plump and look full of life and ready to be snuggled. So worked on that this week the most. And now I'm ready to get the doll put together, and she's just really coming to life little by little. And I'm excited for her to be surprised with this cute little girl to play with on Christmas morning. Now that she is all nice and plump and full of stuffing, it's time to give this girl a neck lift, and she will be getting a chin now. And then once that's done, I will be able to go in and kind of do some finishing things, attach her arm, and then start planning on the hair. And I didn't really have a super duper, I had a plan in my brain how I wanted her hair to look. I didn't know how to execute it. So I sort of just kind of winged it, and it turned out exactly how my brain had kind of orchestrated the way that I wanted it to look. So luckily didn't have to do a lot of trial and error, and then now I have to work on a wardrobe. So hopefully I can pull that off before tomorrow morning. This morning was the first day in probably about 2 weeks that we have ventured outside, and it was like 36 degrees. I got a notification on my phone that we should expect some flurries today, which it doesn't seem like it's that cold, but would be so nice because the last couple of years it has snowed on or around Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's time. So it would be really nice if we got to even see just a little sprinkling of snow. So hopefully that plays out. But we had to come visit our little duck friends because it had been so long since we've seen them, and they seem to be doing very well, and they actually seemed pretty excited to see us. I'm sure they act like this towards every person that they see, but there was a lot of little tail waggling, and they are just so amusing to watch. I can't wait to go back and see them again.
Thanks for joining us on the little peeks of what we actually were able to accomplish this week. And I hope that we have even more to show you as we bring in the new year next week. But with that being said, Merry Christmas, everyone.